Um, so basically, when the scapegoat isn't slaughtered, a weak link is created. The weak link is 9 times out of 10 going to be the black sheep. This is another outcast like the scapegoat. When the scapegoat is forgiven in the wilderness, and cleaned and things like that, that means the town creates a weak link, and then the weak link, gets obviously weaker and to their weakest, and they die. So no, death is really not random, because after the weak link dies, then the strongest link dies. So that's kind of where you get the whole metaphor from, because there's truth in it. It's kind of hard if you're a scapegoat, because then you would have to be in the wilderness kind of alone, and then when you do meet someone, they're gonna be another scapegoat, and it'll probably be the narcissistic one that you will meet. We can talk about that later, but it'll be a narcissistic one. And so I know my husband really does love me, but the baggage and the hurt and the pain and the lies and the deceit and the manipulation and the unaccountability and the emotions, he wants to put that on to someone, and any other scapegoat before being healed wants to put that on someone too, because that's a lot that you're taking. You're taking a whole town sometimes, or just the family. You're taking all of their sins, all of their burdens, all their emotions, all of their lies, everything, and then it's like, oh, when you get clean, you're not better than anybody. It's like, what? Wait. You know what I mean? Like, what just happened? I'm saying that gossiping wasn't good. Lies wasn't good. Cheating and stealing wasn't good, and you'll become hated for what everyone is trying to cover up for. So, we all got it wrong. We all got it somewhat right. The only people that didn't accept me in life was black people. The other people that didn't really accept me in life was the people in the church. I grew up in a certain location, so it adds to my personality. But my husband does love me, and I love him. I've never loved anyone as much as I love him. Ever. I don't think I ever could. Man, and that's another thing. The scapegoats, whether narcissistic or empathetic, they have to build many talents. They get many talents and great gifts, because they have to defend themselves somehow. They have to be accepted somehow. You cannot be a human being here on earth and be rejected by everybody. You will die. You will die. You need affection. You need attention. You need food, water, safety, shelter, love, a pat on the back. Everyone needs this. So this is not some no, everyone deserves that. Everyone needs that for survival. If you have a baby and never touch that baby, they will die. So you know. We are getting visions and dreams today more rapidly. Like, it's been really wild for me. I don't know if it's been like that for you, but my husband wants to get rid of this baggage. Because, yeah, you're not going to know why you're like this, why you act like this, why you feel like this, why you're up, you know, and there, of course, everybody's just going to call you crazy because you're the scapegoat. You're the one that they're putting it on. So why would they, yeah. But it's a reason that people become the scapegoats. They're special for some reason. They're very special because you need a almost perfect goat to do it. Yeah, but I have to take in a lot right now, and I need to let go of a lot of things because it won't be healthy for me. I think that's where the whole testimonial things come through. I had to do it really thick right now because I had some really bad problems and just really bad pores that needed to be assaulted like how I was. But yeah, it's about to be survival of the fittest. Ooh. About to be survival of the fittest, and it's not really dry, so I really don't want to take it off. Feel like Phantom of the Opera. Oh, that feels so good. It feels so good. Look at this. This is a monster. But yeah, we need to just heal and cleanse ourselves. There's a lot going on, so I'm just going to unpack a little bit as I take in a lot of new things for school and for life and my creativity. You know, I'm getting older, I'm embracing the new, you know. But yeah, these scapegoats are very, very significant, more significant than we think. Because there is a select group of a group in a group, you know what I mean? So, and the times that we're in, I think America has done great by going out with dignity and having everything play out the way it needs to play out. So I'm thankful for that, but it is about to get really crazy for people, and the whole gnawing and gnashing of the teeth is going to come because the people that are going to be reigning with God, they're going to be the ones that were scapegoats. They were going to, they're for the people that it's like a humble thing. Like, you can't even say it. It's like some things, like, that's why I know these people is not, listen, every race accepted me except for my own. Since I was a child, a baby, and I grew up in one of the richest places here on the East Coast, period. Top to bottom East Coast. One of the richest areas. Trust me. Yeah. So I grew up I grew up in a Jewish community in the suburbs. But I also had Philly right down the street. So mix of both, right? I seen Amish when I was young. My first memory is when I was like 3. So names are significant. I know that numerology, you know, I'm not going to study it, but there are significant numbers even in the Bible. So I'm not going to manipulate life because of numbers. I'm not going to do certain well, I'm not going to do any incantations for numbers. But when I keep seeing 221, if I keep seeing 1111, if I keep seeing 555, something's trying to get my attention. I get visited by angels a lot. When you get visited by one angel, yes, it's very significant. But if you get visited by 3, it is even more significant. Would I love for my husband to dump his baggage and onto the Mashiach? Yes, I want him to do that. I tell him to do that all the time, because that's the only way this is gonna get clean. You have to dump that onto somebody, or you going to die. And this is the highest form of witchcraft you can do in a family. Just like you may rape a person in the physical, when you gossip about people, that is raping them in the spiritual. So it is a tarnishing, a very serious thing that you're doing. To them. Some things I can't go too deep about, but I will go deep for the sake of some things, because anybody that knows me know I go deep. Anybody that knows me knows what time it is. I'm, like I said, I'm gonna spare a lot of people because I've never been a rude person. I've been outgoing since I was little, and you normally, whatever you were when you're little, you will see what it is if it's a predominant thing, like depression. If you were depressed when you were little, you'll 9 times out of 10 be depressed when you're 30. If you're outgoing when you're little, you'll probably stay outgoing for the remainder of your life, and I've always been. I want my husband to dump his baggage onto the Mashiach himself, but that's not something I can force him to do. He might not understand what's going on. And that's another thing. Sometimes when you feel like you just can't stop doing something in your life where you're like, I've been praying about this, I've been, maybe it's an ancestral thing, maybe it's just something telling you what was in your bloodline. Many of these things that we do don't just come from our own personalities. It comes from what was put on us, what was instilled into us. I grew up in the bar, but what that looked like before I was able to really stand up in the bar was that my mom wasn't there. She was in the bar. So when you have babies where they don't know when mommy's coming back, or if she is coming back, the brain for a baby especially gets imprinted with worry and anxiety. So normally babies that are separated from their moms, things like that, they have anxiety. Now, how do you tell somebody, don't pray and worry, and if you're gonna worry, then don't pray, stop. Because when I had my twins, some people want to say, you gotta have faith, you know, you gotta have faith. That's why I named her Faith. I had twins. When you know something is not, then it is not. You're not about to, and that's another thing. Like, you can give a story out of context and it'll sound like a miracle. So for instance, someone told me one day, my husband's a pastor, and when we had to go somewhere, it was a storm, and he had to go to a conference, and the road was blocked with all the trees, and we got to praying, and the trees just stood up in front of us, and we were able to get to the conference. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, that's amazing. But see, I still have childlike faith, so it doesn't matter. But taken out of context, you're not giving me the context. Are these trees that normally, if you wait 5 minutes, they'll stand back up? Because then that would be the rest of the story. You know what I mean? So, we are to have faith. Blind faith is not irrational. So, I can go deeper in why sometimes that person won't go and get the baggage taken off of them, or how the empathetic goat has to go through a stage of narcissism. Almost to be deemed worthy of the cleansing, right? Because you have to embrace the ugliest side of you before you find the most beautiful side of you. You have to fail before you succeed. I was worshipped by everyone outside of my family, and my family was worshipped. So my family didn't worship me because they put their shit on me. But the people outside of me did. So there will be gnawing and gnashing of teeth when we see the ones that will be reigning with the Mashiach.